So, I want you for a moment to imagine waking up one day to headlines blaring, the dollar is no longer the world's currency. No big deal, right? It's just a piece of paper, but then you check the price of gas, it's doubled. Groceries tripled. Your savings suddenly worth a fraction of what they used to be. Why? Well, because the dollar isn't just America's money, it's the backbone of the global economy, or at least it has been. But can the US survive if that changes? Right now, the US dollar is like the sun in our financial solar system. Everything revolves around it. Trade deals, energy prices, even the stability of other countries' economies depends on the greenback. But what if it wasn't? Some argue we're already seeing cracks in the dollar's dominance. If the dollar loses its global throne, it could reshape not just America, but the entire world. And spoiler alert, it wouldn't just affect billionaires and Wall Street, it could hit your wallet and your job and your future. So let's dive in. How did the dollar become this powerful in the first place? And what happens if that power slips away? Now, the dollar didn't just stumble into global dominance, it earned it. After World War II, the world was a chaotic mess. Countries needed a financial anchor, and the US, with its booming economy and gold reserves, offered just that. In 1944, the Bretton Woods Agreement officially pegged the dollar to gold, and other currencies were pegged to the dollar. In short, the world agreed to trust America's financial strength. Fast forward to 1971, when President Nixon took the US off the gold standard. The dollar was no longer tied to gold, but its dominance didn't waver. Why? Well, because the US struck a deal with oil-rich countries like Saudi Arabia. Sell your oil in dollars and we'll protect your regime. Enter the petrodollar system. Suddenly, every country needing oil also needed dollars. The result, the dollar became the currency of global trade, cementing its status as king of the financial world. But here's the catch. Dominance breeds resentment. Over the years, many countries have started to push back against the dollar's grip. Take China and Russia, for example. They've been working to build alternatives, trading in their own currencies instead of the dollar. Then there's the rise of digital currencies like Bitcoin or central bank digital currencies, which threaten to bypass traditional systems entirely. And let's not forget inflation. As the US prints more money to fund massive spending programs, other nations worry about the dollar losing value. If enough countries decide the dollar isn't worth the trouble, its reign could come to an end. Okay, now here's where things get real. If the dollar loses its status as the world's reserve currency, the US wouldn't just be dealing with a bruised ego, it could face economic turbulence, and here's why. Right now, other countries hold trillions of dollars because they need them for trade. This demand keeps the dollar strong. If that demand disappears, the dollar weakens, and imports like electronics, clothes, or oil become way more expensive for Americans. The US also borrows a lot of money. As the global reserve currency, the dollar lets America borrow cheaply because everyone trusts it. But if the dollar loses that trust, interest rates would spike, making debt more expensive for the government, businesses, and regular people. The US economy relies on the dollar's global dominance to maintain stability. If that dominance fades, markets could spiral into uncertainty, triggering recessions or worse. But, and this is a big but, it's not all doom and gloom. America has certain advantages that could help it weather this storm. Now, despite the risks, some experts argue that the US could adapt to a post-dollar dominant world, and here's how. For one, the US remains the world's largest and most innovative economies. Its tech sector, agricultural output, and energy production provide a solid foundation, even if the dollar status weakens. Two, while alternatives to the dollar exist, none have the same level of trust. The euro, too tied to European politics, the yuan, China's lack of transparency makes investors a bit nervous. Cryptocurrencies still a little bit too volatile. In other words, the dollar may lose some influence, but it's unlikely to disappear entirely. And 3, losing reserve status could force the US to address its fiscal policies, reduce debt, and rebuild trust in its financial system. Painful, yes, but it might lead to long-term stability. So let's zoom out. This isn't just about the US. If the dollar falters, it would shake the entire global economy. Countries holding US debt could face massive losses. Trade could become more fragmented, with nations forming regional currency blocks, and global poverty could rise as financial instability spreads. But here's the thing, change is inevitable. History shows that no currency stays on top forever. The British pound dominated before the dollar, and before that, it was the Dutch guilder. The real question is whether the US can manage this transition gracefully, or whether it'll be caught off guard. So, what can you do about it? Well, start by paying more attention. Economic shifts like this take time, but they shape the world that we live in. Diversifying your savings, staying informed, and understanding global trends could help you navigate whatever comes next. So, can the US economy survive without the dollar? Well, the answer isn't black and white. It depends on how America and the world adapts. But one thing's clear, the stakes couldn't be higher, and whether you realize it or not, the outcome will affect all of us.
Thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a big thumbs up and hit the subscribe button down below. It really helps me out and lets me know that you're interested in seeing more of my content. Also, if you have any thoughts or questions about the video, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I always love hearing from you guys and getting your feedback on how I can improve myself. Thank you.